أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم ولا نساء من نساء عسى أن يكن خيرا منهن ولا تلمزوا أنفسكم ولا تنابزوا بالالقاب بئس الاسم الفسوق بعد الإيمان ومن لم يتب فأولئك هم الظالمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. A fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has affirmed that believers are brothers and sisters. Not only your maternal or paternal brothers and sisters, but believers are brothers and sisters. And which one is better from the two? brothers and sisters in faith, which means I would like him more than my own brother if he is more righteous than my brother. Each one has a special love, and each one has special rights. When it comes to faith, the one who is more faithful should be more closer to you than the one who is not. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us the day of judgment, friends are enemies to one another unless they were righteous friends. So make sure you know how to choose a friend and what kind of a friend you're choosing that reflects who you are. People like to associate with people like them. Evil people associate with evil people normally, and good people associate with good people. Unless, of course, you have an objective in your head, you want to advise, and you want to change the person, and you want to do good for him so he can come closer to Allah, then that's a different story. That's what we call da'wah, propagation of the message of faith. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, since your brothers and sisters in faith are so close to you, He started to give us some recommendations and advices how to deal with one another. And one of those He started with, O you who believe, do not ridicule or mock one another. لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم. Maybe you make fun of someone who is really much better than you in the sight of Allah, again because Allah looks at your heart. You can work 24/7 doing good deeds. If it's not sincere, it's zero in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will not give you any credit for it the day of judgment. He will reward you for it here, but not there. And our objective is to work for the day of judgment. So do not ridicule one another because maybe that person you're making fun of is better than you. And this command is for men and women. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressed women in particular after that. And He said, and women should not do the same because maybe the other woman that you're making fun of is better than you. وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا. And do not spy on one another. Do not spy on one another. And do not backbite one another. What is backbiting? Backbiting is talking about other people true things, but behind their back. And they don't like it if they know about it. So if I see him doing something wrong and I advise him, then I go and tell the class about him, I did backbiting about him. And before I go to heaven, if I make it, I will not enter heaven until he comes and gets his right from me. So you can be so righteous and guaranteed you're going to heaven, but because you do so much backbiting, all of your good deeds will be depleted, because this is how you pay the day of judgment, by good deeds. It's not by I'm sorry or by money. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you do that, you are considered to be fasiq. Fasiq means you're outside the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's a bad name. And do not call one another with nicknames, bad nicknames that people don't like to hear. If your name is fasiq, your testimony is not accepted. and you are following the path of shaitan, Satan, because he is fasiq. His name is fasiq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala named him that. He said, فَفَسَقَ عَنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّهِ. He went outside the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because he did not listen to the command. And you did the same thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told you, don't backbite, you did. He said, don't ridicule, you did. Don't call nicknames, you did. Love your brothers and sisters in faith, you did it. So you did the same thing that shaitan did. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, avoid too much suspicion, too much assumptions. I think he meant this, I think he did that, and I think. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, some of that thinking is evil. Some of that thinking is evil. Then he sealed it subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying, all people. Now it's not believers only, all people. We have created you from a male and a female, Prophet Adam alayhi salam and his wife Hawa. And we made you nations and tribes, so you know one another, help one another, understand one another, take care of one another. Then he said, the best among you and the most noble are the most righteous. Not the most intelligent, not the most good-looking, not the most rich, righteous. If you want to know how good and how noble and how respectful you are in the sight of Allah, and that's what counts, then show me how good you are in following the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله. Help me out, please, make the dua together. أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله الحمد لله لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. رب أسألك خير ما في هذا اليوم وخير ما بعده. رب أعوذ بك من شر هذا اليوم وشر ما بعده. رب أعوذ بك من الكسل وسوء الكبر. رب أعوذ بك من عذاب في النار وعذاب في القبر.